welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all having a great and amazing day today. And guys, we're going to be breaking down what on earth is going on with the stock market as of today. We're going to be breaking down some stocks that I'm looking at, planning on buying. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this live stream. If you guys have any questions, you guys can ask in the chat here. And if you guys want to learn more about trading and swing trading and all that good stuff, I just released a fantastic course and you guys can use promo code YouTube to get 20% off. So I hope you guys all enjoy it. Like I said, any questions, chat room or the comments. So let's just kind of dive into what's going on as of today. So as of today, the Dow Jones, the futures, well, this morning we did get a little more buying pressure entering this afternoon, but the futures fall as the 10-year treasurer yield tops 5%, as well as we're going to have some amazing earnings this week. Now, what I mean by amazing is the companies in it. I'm not saying that these earnings are going to be fantastic and to buy before, but we're going to see major large companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, all release their earnings report. So this is going to be a tech earnings. Now, what have we seen last week? Well, last week, one of the more iconic stocks, Tesla, they did release their earnings and they disappointed heavily. The stock pretty much went from about 253, 254, all the way down to lows here at 200. We did get a little more buying pressure start entering this stock. Now, for me, right now, this does represent a relatively decent opportunity to buy Tesla just because of the support line. You guys will see that we've had tendencies of getting buying pressure near and around 213, 211, in the past. So this does for me represent a good opportunity to try to buy Tesla on a support, as well as if you guys look, you guys can see that wick down on the bottom of the candle. That wick does represent buying pressure. So we do know there is buying pressure there, but I do think we could possibly still see a little more volatility. But another thing I like is there is some old resistance right on that. So that old resistance is now acting as new support, which is always a good indication that, this trend, that support is pretty heavy. So that's always good indication, as well as it's pretty undervalued here on the RSI. So, we'll see what happens with this one, but definitely this one is for sure on my watch list to see what's going on. Another stock, another stock is Palantir. Palantir, we have seen a little volatility from, but it does use that 90 moving average line pretty heavily for some support. So you guys will see it hits it. Every single time it hits that price, we just get that tendency of getting buying pressure. So there could be a definite move, at least for like a possible swing trade, at least, we can draw it out a little clearer here, but we have some resistance. Resistance pretty much at 18. We can delete this one here. Some resistance there. Support is near and around that 90 moving average line. So if you hop in at right now it's 628. Setting stops below it, that's just at 1480 right here. So you virtually, I would even bring it down a little bit, risking $2 almost to possibly make $2. So that's like a 1-to-1 risk and reward, but it's still something to throw on your chart if we do, or your watch list, if we do get a little more sell off down to that support, which would be relatively good. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of volatility as well. If we look at SPY or VU or any tech related, or not any tech, but any S&P 500 or index related ETFs here, if we look at the daily chart here, you guys will see that as we zoom out, we've seen a lot of volatility. This morning, like I said, they released that announcement of the yield being over 5%. The initial market did not take a really good indication of that, and that's kind of why we got this thing just get absolutely annihilated. Did have some resistance at about 420, and then we did have some support here at about 417. It immediately got some breakout here, really establishing that 90 moving average line as some support, as well as that old resistance now acting as new support. Then we just pretty much really started to confirm that 90 moving average line acting as support. So right now, I do think we'll probably see a little sell-off here coming possibly this evening, just because it's pretty overvalued just on the RSI. So I do think we could see a little sell-off down to probably 423, 422 later this afternoon, but still, it's a relatively decent day, honestly in the market. And that's always a good thing. But I really think that coming into this week, we're going to have a ton of volatility among tech. And the reason why I think that is because pretty much the tech stocks that already announced their earnings, like Tesla, did not perform really well. So we're also going to see, companies like Meta, Microsoft, all of them release their earnings. So what I wonder how they're gonna do here. We can pull up Meta platforms and kind of see. So as of today, amazing buying pressure, obviously. And if we go to the daily, you guys will see Meta has been on an absolute roar up. I've been buying it, trying to buy in near and around that 90 moving average line. Does have some resistance right here at about 326. Which is good. Support is pretty much, I would classify that 90 moving average line is pretty heavy. So trying to buy in, I would be surprised if we get sell off back down to 297, but 297 to 300 is that support. Obviously, if Meta does announce bad earnings, expect sell off. For me going into this week, should you buy, should you sell? I always think it's better to just sit on the sidelines. It's a 50-50 guess on if they're going to perform better or worse. Now, obviously, they could perform expected, but I do think it's going to be one or the other. Just kind of how Tesla and some of the other stocks have reacted to it. The earnings report. So very similar situation here with Microsoft here coming into this week. Does have support on that 90, resistance is at about 340. You guys can see every time it pretty much breaks above it, we do get sell off shortly after. Support is at 90, so right now it's just kind of trading in the middle. So we'll see what happens with this one. It's going to be really, really interesting with all these earnings, like I said. But, that's kind of what's going on in the market. Everybody's kind of prepping for these earnings, thinking they're going to be really good or they're going to be really bad. Now, if we go ahead and we look at that, just say the, S&P 500 map here, you guys will notice, we've seen a mixed day. Energy is down, but we're also seeing tech up, in preparation for the earnings. Semiconductors is up. Nvidia here, this thing, I've been buying this absolutely like crazy. And the reason why is just textbook support and resistance. So trying to buy in at about 410 right now. This is when I bought in 410, 413 was in my average. Right now it's 429, and the reason why is just textbook support, resistance. So textbook support and resistance, I will most likely start squeezing out of my trade, hopefully near and around 445 to about 460, right in that range, just because, we could still get some sell-off just because the stock is still on a downward trend, technically like that. It's really not flat anymore. I mean, it kind of is, but we'll see what happens. So there could be a little more buying pressure to about 460 instead of 480. But yeah. So if you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments right now. And if you guys are new to the channel, new to the team, we appreciate you guys stopping in and watching with us. And, subscribe, join. And if you guys want to learn how I find opportunities and all that stuff, make sure you guys check out my course and you guys can get 20% off. It's for this week only, just because this is the first week we announced it. And you guys will have access to the chat room where you guys can hang out with me, ask questions, and instead of going into the comments on YouTube, and it's hard to send links over on the comments and stuff like that. So guys, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. We'll end it here just because no one's messaging, and these were all the stocks that I wanted to cover and talk about today. So I'm super excited to see where this week goes with the earnings. Obviously, you guys can stay up to date. We're going to be breaking down all of them this week on the live stream. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys later. Remember to stay happy, stay positive, and stay safe out there. Take care, guys.